Personally speaking, I feel like we all know the correct answer to this question, but let's go on a little journey together anyway. Here are the metrics in which I'm going to use in order to measure how good a map is. I'm going to look at the map, and then I'm going to decide if it's good or not. There we go. That's it. That's the whole thing. Look, I've been watching Daredevil, okay? You'll get your convincing argument for each, and understand, this list is objectively correct in order from worst to best. There's no arguing it. I have spent more time watching and interacting with nature than years you have left in your life. You cannot possibly catch up. Therefore, all arguments to the contrary are, like I said, invalid. Before we start, the gaming Discord is in the description. They're doing all sorts of stuff in there. Feel free to join if you're old enough. Now, we may begin. Or I may begin. Oh, and before you say anything, I think all of the maps are designed well at a fundamental level. I'm just telling you which one is the best. I consider it acceptable to make fun of you for being illiterate should you come after me for being a hater. So I settled on doing this. Yeah, that's right, you're getting prologue cry about it. It doesn't take long. I settled on this by accidentally doing a safari with the boys. Did you know that you can swim? Also, you can reel your fishing rod by using your movement input to go back and forth very quickly. And if you just need the fish, you can use your net to catch them instead. If it can fit in the net, you can kidnap it. Looney Tune logic applies here. Just telling you some stuff that I wish I knew earlier. Now listen up, because this is important. Then we begin. I'm going to say the term exclusive monsters a few times. This means monsters unique to that specific environment. Now we begin. For real this time. Number 5, so the worst environment. Cover your ears, lava lovers, because it's the oil well basin. So why is it the oil well basin? Two things. Least impressive array of exclusive heavy hitters, and a relatively barren landscape. I'll give you the nod for the monkeys and the octopus being impressive. I will even agree that the implementation of heat and the changing of the environment is pretty cool, but that's all you're gonna get from me. The Gravios does not exist to eat hunters, it exists to eat time. Don't tell me that thing is killing you. And the Rumpopolo? Yeah, it's annoying, but it's never gonna make or break a hunt. If you want that thing dead, it's gonna die. The other inhabitants are nothing to write home about either, but let's be honest, it's a lava wasteland. It's not like I expect it to be teeming with wildlife, but I at least wanted it to compete with the others a little bit. It did not. It's about as good as you can make a molten hellscape, all credit where it's due there. The only problem is you can't make a molten hellscape much more than good. You could achieve the same result and more by mimicking something like Hawaii, with the magma area taking over after a volcanic eruption. Number 4 goes out to its more laid-back wasteland compatriot, the Windward Plains. But it's the original, shut your face. It's 4th, and that's where it belongs. Once again, Great Alpha, love fighting the Ray Dow, but everywhere has one of those. Well, besides one place, but we'll address that in a moment. The same goes for its somewhat mid-cast of exclusive monsters. Think about it. Chotacabra, Camatrise, Balahara, you're not writing home about those. The plains don't stack up too bad in the endemic life category, so why is it that they fall all the way down to 4th? Well, it's because their competition is stiffer than whatever dick joke came to your mind once I said the word stiff. Also, it's literally just a desert. Sure, the plains and caves exist, but they make up a measly fraction of what is otherwise just Anakin Skywalker repellent. At least in the ice cliffs, you can piss your name into the snow. This area is just the area surrounding Vegas. Oh wait, it's not even that, because at least that has a cactus or two. If it was more focused on Savannah or the caves, I would be significantly less harsh, but it's not, so I'm not. Lucky number 3, the Ice Shard Cliffs. There's only 2 reasons this beat the last 2 contenders. One sounds like an Indian folktale, and the other means no worries. Wait, shit, that's Hakuna Matata, not Gormagala. Fuck it, whatever. Look, this frozen fuck pile, it sucks. It sucks like every other frozen tundra. I have lived in these environments all my life. Trust me, it's awful. Here's the thing people don't tell you when the argument of hot versus cold is brought up. Everyone saying cold is better tends not to understand true cold. I have been in miserable, wet Louisiana swamp heat. I have had the Floridian sun, magnified by saltwater droplets, boil the skin upon my shoulders. I have been in Arizona where it was so hot I pissed on a sewer grate just for shits and giggles, and it began to evaporate upon contact. I am taking that over extreme cold every single time. That frigid bitch wind that feels like knives on your skin, the circulation loss leading to numbness in your extremities, and the sting. Oh, the goddamn sting. Southerners, if you don't understand, please, I implore you to never try, but I'll explain it for you if you're curious so that you never have to. When you're colder than a Yeti's ballsack making contact with a steel toilet, your body does something weird. Despite being numb, painful sensations are not only amplified, but prolonged. Anybody who has worked on machinery or stubbed their toe in the winter knows this. 17 grown men just got into the fetal position, recalling a time that a socket wrench slipped while they weren't wearing gloves. And it's never a matter of if you're gonna feel the most ungodly frigid sting in the world, it's a matter of when, because your dexterity is ruined. So yeah, heat is a bitch, no argument here, but the cold is a homewrecker that's gonna cheat on you and take the kids. Why do I say this? Because I detest frozen environments with every fiber of my being, and even I can recognize that the Gormagala and Jindahad fights carry so hard, it gets 2 spots higher than it has any right to be. By the way, some of you are wondering based on the last video why I hate the Jindahad. Short answer, the game verifiably makes me play by different rules regarding hitboxes with him specifically. Crouching versus non-crouching, little shit like that. That's not important right now, just figured I'd clear that air. What is important is our number 2 spot, the ruins of Wyveria. Is it a cool little place? Sure, I guess I can give you that. I mean, I can certainly argue it. There's no dynamic changes and the clouds never go away, but that's not why it got the number 4 spot. By pure monster count alone, this needed to be top 2. The game is called Monster Hunter, for God's sake, and this is absolutely the place to do that. I did a count just to show you exactly how stark the contrast is between here and everywhere else. Ice Shard Cliffs, 8 large monsters. Windward Plains, 8 large monsters. Oil Well Basin, 9 large monsters. Scarlet Forest, 8 large monsters. Ruins of Wyveria, 17 large monsters. We are not overlooking that. We can't overlook that. You can talk my ear off about how half of the monsters are cross-pollination, a quarter are bootlegs, and the last quarter are exclusive, but it won't matter. If you're playing and you're here for the hunt, this is prime real estate. As of right now, this is the Monster Hunter's habitat. Before we get to our last spot, and I'm sure you've figured out what that is by now, it's time for the honorable mention. How could I make this video and not include the pit? I know I just said Wyveria is a hunter's habitat, and that is true, but the pit is a monster fighter's habitat. You don't want the hunt, you just want the smoke. No bread, no water, just meat. This place is for the human equivalent of dogs who chomp hose water. They're probably mad at that and don't even realize it's not an insult. You guys are lunatics, but at least you know exactly what you want. You said, fuck it, put us in a cage, get me a knife, and that's enough for you. Doesn't matter what's on the other end. You're gonna stab until one of you are dead, and you're okay with that. I kinda respect it. Finally, at long last, we reach number 1, the Scarlet Forest. I mean, come on, could it be anything else? No, the answer is no. The Uthduna's fat ass is actually a detraction from this place, and it still clears. I mean, just look at it. It's a paradise. Everywhere else on this list is a staging area with extra steps. They're just places for the monsters to fight. But the forest is a true expansive, interactive, and detailed environment. This feels like it's where the monsters actually live and go about their day. There's a food chain, territories, the whole shit. Look at all these little dudes. There's so many tiny guys. And all these little bits are what gives it the feel of a true ecosystem. When you explore the landscape, you're actually exploring new areas, temples, caverns, waterways, outlooks. It's got so much more depth than everything else. I'm not saying the others have none, but they simply can't compare. Scarlet Forest is on top all day. So what did we learn from all this? Well, I'll tell you what we learned. You gotta have more little dudes, and you have to have more foliage, or more wildlife in general. You can rely on the monsters to do all the heavy lifting, but it's the little things that put it over the top. The details that you stop and slow down to notice. Make the place look busy, really bump up the wildlife factor. I want this to look like a 9/11 conspiracy theory fucked the Burning Man festival. I'm talking bush everywhere. You gave us the jungle, you did fantastic. 10 out of 10, thoroughly satisfied. Now I gotta see an autumnal forest. Something nice for the pumpkin spice girlies, and yes, that includes men when talking about pumpkin spice. If you were a real man, you would have just gnawed on a cold pumpkin rind on your porch. Personally, I don't even care if it's another jungle. I'm even down for a water level. I lied. I'm not prepared for a water level. You're not prepared for a water level. Water levels actually violate your Eighth Amendment rights against cruel and unusual punishment. I will only tolerate water levels if you give me wild Kratz armor. Look, what I'm saying here is no more barren, soulless wastelands. And now, just a little detail. People say gingers have no souls so often, but you want to know who really doesn't that we need to take to task? Whoever the fuck is responsible for Pop-Tart crust being the way that it is. Me and that person, no simpatico. They are not making the Christmas card list. But, yeah, there's the list. Have a good one.